part of our Cowboys, Indians, and Cold Warriors. So last week we were really focusing on cowboys and Western movies in regards to the Cold War and how the Cold War really rubbed off and how politics plays a role in Hollywood. It did then, as you well know probably, it very much plays a role today in movies coming out. Always good to sort of see what the agenda is whenever you see a trailer of a movie. And this is where we start to switch gears, and we're looking thematically here also at identity and how closely identity and formations of identities and clashes of identities when it comes to movies portrayals. So, this we're focusing on Native Americans, we're focusing on the American Indian, but also think of people of color, think of different ethnic backgrounds, and how American Hollywood portrays certain groups. This week in particular, focusing on the Native American Indian. So I think you're going to like this. I really enjoy this topic because I was working in universities in California. I worked a lot with Native American populations in California. Worked a lot with the tribes in Northern California. A very, very small percentage don't go to college in Indian communities. Very tiny. So it's a huge part that I was doing, working with tribes, of helping to get an understanding of how universities can help the youth, but also help the communities of tribes. So you might yourself be part of a tribe, or somebody that is, and there's still a stigma in the Indian community of how higher education can be a sense of whitewashing, kind of like the old boarding schools. If you don't know about the boarding schools, that's something to look up or take my U.S. history class. And it's sort of the sense that, losing your culture by being, quote, civilized or whatever. The old saying in the turn of the century was, kill the Indian and save the boy, as they put them into these schools. And that mindset has progressed, where some people still today see higher education as a way of losing one's culture. And then we're going to get into how it's used in movies and how actors have spoken up on behalf of Native American peoples. Marlon Brando spoke out with his treatment of Native Americans. He did that at a time too that's important when there was AIM, the American Indian movement, really in full swing. And they took over Alcatraz, if you know Alcatraz in the Bay in San Francisco. Occupied it for, I think, a year and a half, 2 years. 69, I believe. No, sorry, 69 to 71, I believe. Somewhere thereabouts. But it was a huge thing. I have some friends, you might know some people that were part of that movement. And there's some other things that happened around the country with that. And a lot of the actors came forward to show their support, Marlon Brando being one. Also, actors walking off the set of more current movies, like that you'll see there as well. But also I wanted to show just a clip of a documentary, since you're in Northern California, and the Winnemem tribe, which the tribal leader, Colleen Sisk, some of you might know about this, some of you might be hearing more about this, of dancing salmon home, of trying to bring the salmon back to the waters in and around Redding, and McLeod, specifically the McLeod River. The salmon is in New Zealand now, because in the late 1800s, they brought it there and it flourished, but because of the dam, Shasta Dam, that salmon no longer runs. So they're working to get it back, which is part of their culture, part of their identity. So tying in environmental issues to Native culture, and then using that as an active tool through film and a documentary is a whole nother thing altogether. So that's just a clip from the documentary. They have the documentary at the Shasta College Library if you're interested. If you have questions about that, feel free to email me. Again, if you have questions, comments, please email me. I love to hear from all of you. Have fun with this one as always. This is an interesting shifting gears a little bit, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about all this stuff. And have a fantastic week. We'll be in touch. Bye-bye.